Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to draw a dog, or really any animal for that matter. So please keep on watching if you want to learn how. Alright, so to begin this tutorial we're going to need a reference photo. I'm just going to find a reference photo on Google image search of a cute dog. When you're practicing animals, I definitely recommend using reference photos because it's really going to help you get the whole anatomy of a dog or a certain breed of dog. I liked the stance of this dog and the perspective, so I'm just going to be using this for the entire tutorial. So now that I have figured out how to get the dog fully on my screen, let's get to it. So an easy way to start drawing animals is to really study the image and imagine the animal broken down into various shapes. So for example, the head here is an oval shape and the body here is a more elongated oval shape, almost egg-shaped. So to make it really simple, we're just going to break down this image into those two main shapes and then we're going to work off of those. So let's get to it. Over on our paper, I'm just grabbing a mechanical pencil and I'm just going to start by creating that first oval that I showed you. This is going to be the head of the dog. You want to try to mimic the positioning so it's a little bit slanted to the left. And then in order to position the body egg, as we'll call it, properly, we're going to see where it lines up on the photo. So you can see here that it's sort of in line with the nose. So the top of the egg shape is in line with the nose of the dog. So using our imagination, we're just going to imagine where the nose would be on that first oval that we've created. And I'm going to sort of break down my oval into two shapes. So I'm going to start with a circle to make the larger part of the oval, and then I'm going to expand that out with a little oval egg-shaped bottom. I'm just going to mark a vertical line down the face so that I can be sure that I get that angle of the face correct as well. Now I'm just going to start sketching in and defining some of the edges that I know aren't really likely to change as I go over these shapes. So I've just done a more concrete line on the chest, and now I'm going to start sort of defining that face shape a little bit. And when I sketch, I like to create little light markings of definitive features that I guess that stand out to me the most so that I can decide where to position things as I go. You can see the snout of this dog is sort of a circular shape, so I'm just going to mimic that onto the face shape that we've done already by just creating a circle like this. And then I'm going to lightly sketch in where some of the markings go, again, just so I have some kind of a guideline. I'm going to work on positioning the eyeballs and some of the facial features. Keep in mind that these are not set in stone. You can always erase and adjust these. In my case, I feel like the eyes aren't properly positioned. I feel like they may be slightly high, but we can work on tweaking that as we go. Moving on to the ears, you can see here that the ears are really just triangles. So sticking with that idea that everything is made up of shapes is really going to help you. I can also see on the photo that the end of the ear ends where the nose ends. So on my sketch here, I'm just going to create a little dot so that I know where to end the ear. So that is tip number 2 to keep in mind while you are sketching. Make sure that you're looking at where things are positioned in relation to other elements on the photo. So here you can kind of see the angle at which the next ear is positioned. Again, it's in line with the nose, so we're just going to sketch that in quickly. Now I'm just going to lightly mark out some of the dog's markings so that I know where the light and dark values go. And from here, since we've already got the main body shape, it's pretty easy to just determine where your next pieces are going to go, such as the legs. And for the feet here, I've actually created little ovals for the paws as well, so that I can just refine those as well as I go. Moving on, you can kind of see where the body starts to turn upwards. It kind of follows that circular shape that I had sketched in previously. And then the back leg comes off of the top edge of that egg shape. Once again, I'll just create a little oval where the paw is going to go, and then I can define the toes and the nails next. So now that all of my main outlines are finished, I want to go in and I want to define everything more. So I'm using a harder pressure on my pencil now, and I'm just creating the lines that are basically going to stay. The lighter lines were used as my guideline, and the darker pressure is going to be what actually defines the entire animal. So I'm just going in and creating all those little details and filling in areas that I hadn't before. And this is where you can really refine what you've done. If you don't like something, you can erase it. I'm also erasing my initial light pencil lines here so that it's easier to see my finished lines. And this isn't going to be the most detailed sketch in the world. It's just going to show you how to create the shapes and how we take those shapes and we sort of mold them into a final product. So now I'm able to finish the feet and give them the definition of the toes and the little nails, which I'll add later. And you can really see it start to come together. And now that you have studied this dog and you know which shapes you need to use, I'm gonna have you create your own without using the reference photo at all, just based on what you've already drawn. So down here on my sketchbook, I'm just going to recreate those initial shapes that we started with. And I'm basically going to recreate this dog, but sort of make it more in my own style. And I'm going to end up finishing it in ink. This will also show you that just using the basic shapes, the same shapes that we used already in the same positions, you can get a completely different looking dog. Of course, if you are using a reference photo for practice, that's totally fine. I do recommend, if you are continuing practice, try to develop your own style by recreating what you've created and developing it into something that is uniquely yours. So for my little doggy here, I don't really know which breed I ended up with in the end, but I thought it was cuter than the first initial one, and it's definitely more my style. So I have just sketched out my basic lines once again. It took me like no time to do that since I'd already done it before. And now I'm just going over it with my mono drawing pen just to finish it off. And once you do start doing this over and over again, even the second time you do it, you're gonna know those shapes and you're going to develop sort of a muscle memory to do them. So the more you practice, the more you're gonna be able to keep developing your own characters and develop different objects, animals, anything out of your own head. So here is my little guy. I wanted to add a couple spots to him. And I give him a little waggly tail, and I'm pretty happy with how he turned out. Definitely tag me on Instagram if you create your own dog. I really want to see your progress and what you've created. Okay, so this wouldn't be a Wonder Forest tutorial if I didn't add a little bit of color to this. So I'm going to take my initial dog sketch and I'm going to transfer that onto watercolor paper, and now we're going to paint it and we're going to add a little bit of color. Now I did this really quickly. I was not too concerned about detail. I just wanted to get some color on just so that you could see what it could look like once you're finished, because a sketch to a painting, it tends to look pretty different. So I just wanted to kind of give you that effect as well. So I'm just using two colors, which are lamp black and burnt umber, and I'm just going to continue filling this in. So keep on watching until the end to see the finished product. So that is all there is to it. This painting is not my best work, but it gives you the idea. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. And let me know in the comments which version was your favorite. Do you like the sketch? Do you like the ink? Or do you like the watercolor? Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.